our next speaker, like I mentioned, I met him about 2 years ago. We were both at a mastermind, and it was $10,000 a person to be there. And there were some heavy hitters there, like 10 of us. One guy is a billionaire, and then I see this guy there. I'm like, are you here with your dad? And he's like, no, I'm here by myself. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, how did you get $10,000? How old are you? And he's like, I'm 17 years old. And I'm like, okay, you gotta tell me like how you ended up in this house, because it took me years to invest in a $10,000 3-day event. How did you get here? He said, well, very simple. I have an online coaching business, and essentially, I live in Slovakia, and it costs about $20,000 to get here, because I had to get the $10,000 mastermind tickets and also fly with my parents, because I can't come by myself. I had to get the tickets and hotels and lodging to come to the States from Slovakia. So in the past 2 weeks, I made an offer, and I made $24,000 in 2 weeks to get here. And I was like, holy shit, Peter, this is fascinating. And I just took him aside and I said, please tell me what you just told me. And I took a Facebook video and I put it on there, and that shit went viral. And it just spread, because it was like, how is this young man, age of 17, making $24,000 in a week? And funding his trip to be here and contributing as well. He just wasn't there just like sitting here taking notes. He has some epic content, you know? And from there, it was actually an interesting turn of events, because Slovakia is not a big country. So like he just got that video like spread across the internet, and it spread in his school, and his teacher saw it. Actually, his English teacher was kind of thinking about, shit, I'm not making any money as a teacher. So a teacher was actually looking to work for him, because young baller, you know? And this is, like I said, the guy's still in his teens, and he's now transitioned into being an online entrepreneur, and he's helping me with my traffic and my lead generation. You know, just basically smart dude, and that's why I have him here. And he's going to share the things Peter has learned by dropping out of high school. I don't recommend that. That's it. You know, not every speaker agrees with my point of view. Traveling the world and making millions, and my national currency before I turned 18. So give a round of applause for the legend, Peter Szabo.
Okay, so I just want to talk about, this right there. I want to keep it pretty simple. Let's begin. I essentially grew up in Slovakia, and it was a pretty average $500 per month household. Nothing special. I think childhood was pretty average up until 2009, where essentially our family made an investment that just messed things up. We went from average to broke. We took out multiple loans, we took out money out of our saving accounts, and the life quality changed dramatically. Like I said, average to broke. And when you're making $500 a month and you drop below that, it's pretty tough. So at that point, I wanted to change, but I didn't know how. See, I didn't speak any English back then. I just didn't know how to change. And at 11, it was pretty tough. I was hopeless, desperate. That's pretty much it. And at 11, I was so lucky that I saw a movie, The Secret.
Great movie. I just wanted to interject.
Yeah.
Here, you just hold the mic a little closer.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, my first time speaking, so you gotta bear with me.
No, it's the first time speaking too.
Yeah. Okay.
Young Slovakian millionaire. 18. Like, holy shit.
Is this cool?
Yeah, man.
All right.
You're doing great.
So The Secret opened my eyes and just made me believe that I can be doing anything I choose to. And with that courage, I just went into Google and typed in how to make money online. Initially, I was making pennies. I literally was making 4 cents a day, and I think it took me like 4 months to make my very first dollar online, which was a pretty big accomplishment, I stick to it. I never gave up, and as years went by, I eventually started making $1 a day, $10 a day, $100 a day, and I think my biggest day so far was $9,000 in a single day. So number one shift for me in terms of exploding my business and getting better results was mentoring. This is actually how I met AJ. That was last year, summer, in America. I just let my parents know that my mentor invited me to, be in America at this mastermind. And my parents are the type of people that want to put off things until we kind of forget about it. But I was really committed to being there, so I made a commitment to myself, my mentor, that I'll be there no matter what. So a week before the actual event, I asked my mom, can I go to America? And she just starts crying. She said that at 17, she's just not going to let her only kid travel to a different side of the world all by himself. And at that time, I didn't have an extra 5-10 grand to bring my parents with me. I'm like, Mom, I gotta be there. So I'm gonna bring you too. And I'm gonna bring my dad too. Like I said, I simply didn't have the money, but I had to find a way. I was desperate. At some points, I was just really trying to apply the law of attraction and believing that I already had the result. I was like changing back and forth. But in 7 days, I managed to make that money and go to America. This guy from Dubai just appeared out of nowhere. And when I presented the offer, I just told him that it's normally 12 grand, and if he takes it today, it's only going to be 9 grand. And yeah. And the funny thing is that he took it without any objections. And he also said that it's only 9 grand, it's so cheap. So he paid me that money, and I traveled to America. It was a life-changing experience. I met AJ, and obviously that turned out to be an awesome thing too.
Yeah, we've stayed friends since. And this guy's an inspiration. Absolutely.
Now the funny thing is that this guy that paid me 9 grand after a month disappeared. So how do you explain it? You need to be at a place. You have no idea how to be there. You have no idea how to make an extra 10 grand. And this guy appears out of nowhere, pays you all the money that you need. You get to the event, you accomplish your dream, and then he disappears. This was the time when I just thought that maybe life is not about coincidences. Maybe there is something called destiny. Fast forward to 17, I was earning roughly 10 grand a month. Obviously 24K in like a couple of weeks, that was an exceptional thing. I still do not know how I made that happen, but that's reality. Back to 17, like I said, I was making roughly 10 grand a month. I had the privilege to travel to roughly 12 countries last year, and life was pretty good. Life was extraordinary, but what happened next just blew my mind. I had the chance to travel to France, and I essentially went there to just chill out, just enjoy some time, hike in the mountains. But we went back to the mansion, and I was just talking about this idea that I want to speak on stage. I said that I don't feel good enough because I haven't made $1 million yet. In my national currency, I made millions of karunas, but in US dollars, that's only 6 figures. So I was just there talking about this, dream of mine to speak on stage. Didn't feel good enough, and actually one guy right there, I want to give him a shout out. His name's Liam. He actually helped me break through. He very quickly called me out of my bullshit that it's maybe not the fear of speaking on stage, even though I'm nervous. He quickly discovered that I essentially had a deep issue around my dad. For 2 years of my life, I've been really just trying to prove him wrong, prove everybody wrong that quitting in high school is the right thing to do, at least for me. It's not what I'm suggesting to anybody. Not that you guys are still in high school. But essentially, I just cried like a baby. When I finally understood that this issue with my dad has been crippling my life, my business, and everything else, it was crazy. When I flew home, I think it 2 days to just grow a pair of balls to sit down with my dad and talk to him about this. When I did that, life changed. As cheesy as it sounds, it was as if a huge boulder just lifted up my shoulder and destiny unfolded. Life became so easy, and my business also exploded. And the idea behind that was income to impact. I know Ashley talked about this, and I've heard these ideas that business is about adding more value, just helping people. And I always knew it intellectually, but I had no idea how to actually do it. I think I was blinded by money for so long, but when I finally resolved the issue around my dad, I could tap into this to actually focus on impact and serving people instead of income. When I did that, my business literally doubled the next month. So September, I doubled my previous month, and this month I'm on track to double September, just because I shifted from income to impact. So life is really fucking good, you know. Given so much love, so much support from people, I wanted to pay it forward. This is why I created my agency, essentially supporting meaningful businesses to get the customers and clients they need to create a bigger ripple effect. You know, I believe if you just help one person, that can turn into 10 people, 100 people, and you know, life just gets better. So the way I accomplished it is that I helped my clients build a simple funnel. I tracked their ideal clients and customers. Then I had my team run Facebook ads to it, and the end result is just having a steady stream of customers in a better world. So, quick recap. I essentially went from literally zero. I didn't have any investments. Well, I did have 20 bucks. My dad once gave me 20 bucks, which I, didn't make it back. I lost those 20 bucks. But I essentially went from zero to making 6 figures, charging up to 25 grand for my stuff, plus earning as much as my parents do, in a single year, and I did that in a single day. So, bottom line, if I could do it, a 17, 18-year-old kid from Slovakia with broken English, you can do it too. And I believe, it doesn't have to take 7 years. As funny as it seems or sounds, I have 7 years of experience in marketing and these kind of things. So if you just know how to pull it off and you actually do the work, you can make it happen. I also believe that the only thing that works is work. But you also need to back it up with the right mindset and beliefs. I don't believe in the sit at home, feel good, meditate all day, minutes approach, but neither do hustle, work endless hours, 24/7, never celebrate attitude. For me, it's kind of a mixture of doing the proven rituals and just doing the work. So my secret sauce is pretty much just getting in front of the mirror. Every single morning I wake up, I put on some happy songs, I sit on like this fitness ball, and just start bouncing. And I just do each song, one song for one of these things. So I do gratitude, just focusing on things that I'm grateful for. I do feel as if, so I imagine myself having the things that I want as if I have them now. And self-love, just look in my eyes and just say that I love myself. So I do it for like 10, maybe 30 minutes, and at the end of this ritual, I feel blessed. I feel as if life is just working out, and if I do it and I stick to this routine, business and life work, stuff just shows up. So that's shift number 3, just getting a morning routine. If you ask around, any successful person has a morning routine. Even AJ has a morning routine. Everybody has a morning routine.
Yeah, all successful people, definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry to interject, but a great point about morning routines that Tim Ferriss, who listened to the Tim Ferriss podcast, yes, essentially he realized that all of his guest high-level people have a routine, and he just now it's creating a book about everyone's daily routine. So obviously, there's no reason why you're a Slovakian millionaire, and that's a very powerful morning routine. So yeah, obviously, success leaves clues. Yeah.
AJ, your microphone's off.
Thank
Cool. So at this point, I don't know if you guys just want to do like a Q&A or you want to hear about how you did it. So if anybody wants to do a Q&A,
Well, you can vote.
raise your hand
So,
up.
What is it that you did in the beginning to make your 9,000? Like the Dubai guy that bought that thing for me, what did you sell? Like Facebook marketing or?
So before that, I was just doing high-ticket consulting.
Okay.
Even though I was super young, I learned a lot of things about internet marketing over the 7 years, so I just told my expertise.
And also, because this is great to share, because you shared this with me privately, but it'll elaborate on Jamon's question. Like, when you were first doing your online coaching business, people were like, how old are you? Hey, could you just share how you got over that objection?
Well, there's a lot of things that I've tried and done, and I'm not sure which one you're referring to be honest.
Yeah. People question your age and your experience,
Yeah, age is really irrelevant. Somebody can be extremely young or old. It's about the level of expertise they have or the results that they got. So, I could actually back these results up. At this point, I have plenty of testimonials and stuff, so it's not an issue anymore. But still, some people, when they are wanting to hand me money, it comes out that, hey, this guy's super young. And the funny thing is that when I see, young entrepreneurs, 18, 19, even I'm skeptical. So, I don't know, I guess we're like conditioned socially that, young people are supposed to be in school and don't pay them $5,000. But that's just how I feel about it. So actually, one of the things I've done in terms of getting better results in high ticket, which not a lot of people talk about, is partnering up. I actually partnered up with AJ, and I knew that, hey, this guy has a lot of authority, he's really charismatic. So I asked him, hey, why don't you record a video for me? I'm just going to run some traffic to it, and that's how I'm going to get my leads and applications. So he did that. I made a deal with him. And ever since I did that, I created a funnel that produces 1,000% return on investment. So for each dollar I put in, I get 10 back.
Powerful. Yeah.
Any
Genius.
questions?
Any other questions?
So what is your program? And what is it?
Right now?
Yeah.
All right, so right now I do Facebook ads for my clients, and I also do funnel consultations. A lot of people think that they've got a traffic problem, but in reality, their funnel might be broken. Or even before that, the fundamentals such as their offer, their niche, their simply business strategy is broken, and that's what we need to work on. Facebook ads is pretty simple, it's maybe 20% of the equation, but you first need to fix the fundamentals.
Yeah. So give me an idea, like on your programs, like pitch, like what's your highest end program, and then what's your low end program, or you just have one?
Yeah, I guess I can go into this stuff because that's kind of going to answer your question. So one thing that I've done that helped me increase my business was lowering my fees, because before that I was selling stuff at 10, 25 grand, 16, 17, and I noticed that even though I'm getting a bunch of applications, it's kind of hard to sell them. Even before that I didn't have too many testimonials or results, and a lot of these people might tell you that it's not necessary. Yes, you can make a bunch of money without it, but it's so much easier if you actually got success stories and you base your marketing around it. So what really helped me grow was actually find some people, really help them, even if I had to give away my service for free, and get that case study. And one of my clients, he actually spent $4,000 in marketing and made $48,000 in a single month. So when I got that case study and I leveraged that to get new clients, it was much easier than before. Before that I had to prove them that I can get a result, but now I actually have this proof. Yeah, and a couple other things. If you're doing high ticket, you want to sell your stuff, you definitely want to watch out for no-shows. You might see these marketing courses telling you that you're going to spend $20, $50, $100 for an application, and you're going to sell 1 in 5, 1 in 10, whatever. It's usually not the case. Some of you might know that no-shows add up, and that can transform the business into the ground. You can go bankrupt if you don't watch your numbers. Also watch out for sales versus selected. AJ kind of mentioned this, that people like to talk about their highlight reel on Facebook. And a lot of these people are like, hey, I made $100,000 this month. Well, they might have just collected $10,000, but it's like a 12-month contract or like a $800 per month program. So just make sure you do your due diligence. I actually had a mentor in the past that told me, hey, everybody, if they invest 5, 10 grand into their self and their business, everybody's going to get results. Now, that's not the reality. I don't want to be like a negative person. This is kind of the dark side of high ticket. This is the stuff that I had to learn and go through over like a 2-year period. That yes, you are more likely to get results if you put in more money into yourself, but that's not always the case. You might get some sort of results, but keep that in mind that there's more to it. You got to put in more effort. Yeah, and in terms of the money question that you asked, if you charge 10, 20, 25 grand, and you want to make, I don't know, 20 grand a month, then you got to keep in mind that your business only depends on a handful of sales, right? So if you don't get that sale, that month you made 0. Or if you do get that sale, and a person's not happy and asks for a refund, whatever, you can go very easily bankrupt. Now, I'm lucky that I never got into those shoes, but as I traveled the world last year, I had the chance to travel with some people that were in that, in those shoes, even though I can't talk right now. So, in Venice, and he wanted to fly back to Australia, right? he was selling these coaching programs for like $5,000, and at one point he just didn't get clients. So he couldn't actually purchase a ticket to fly back to Australia. So, once again, I'm not here to like ruin the party or whatever, but keep in mind that these things are very real. You might want to start charging your monthly recurring. That's what I've done. So I went from charging 10, 25 grand to $1,000 a month, 1,500 a month, and it's less friction. People can pay it easily. I make sure that I offer no contracts. I don't believe in locking people in for 3-6 months. If they don't see results after the first month. And I even offer guarantees. I don't believe in money-back guarantees, but I believe in, hey, I'm going to work with you, and I'm going to invest in you if you invest in me. Right? So just lower the friction, because the higher the price tag, obviously, the harder to sell the program. Essentially, you want to find your sweet spot, right? Usually, you want to reach out to a mentor or an expert to help you find the sweet spot. Because one of the biggest things I see is that people are generalists. AJ talked about this too, like the doctor thing. Being the general doctor and you can be the brain surgeon. You want to find your sweet spot. Who are you? Some of you guys might still call yourselves like a fitness expert or a weight loss expert. You need to niche down and find a specific sweet spot so you can go after the right people. I already talked about the big case study. And at the end of the day, the business is about generating sales calls, if you're doing high ticket, and then closing it and conducting those sales calls. At the end of the day, obviously you want to deliver. And make sure that you learn from proven sources. For a long time in my life, I've been just buying stuff. I pretty much invested almost 6 figures into my marketing education myself. And I bought a lot of bullshit. And I just wish that I could go back and I don't wish that I could go back. I'm really grateful that I had all these, learning lessons. But in the future and from now on, I just want to learn from people that are proven. Make sure that you do your due diligence and check out their success stories and case studies. And it's, common sense, but sometimes we need to be reminded. I don't want to pitch AJ so much, but if you look at him, he's got so many success stories. Like you can see that he's legit. So that's why you go to him and learn from a proven source. So, if you want to check me out, my site is peterszabo.com. And I want to leave this presentation with one question. If you want to have more in life, whether that's money, whether that's happiness, fulfillment, freedom, you want to have a better relationship, what is the one thing you can do today to become more? Hire me. That's a joke. Don't pay me. And thank you.
All right. Slovakian millionaire, teenager, extraordinaire, playboy, Peter Szabo. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That was awesome. And that was his first speech ever. So, how do you think he did? Awesome. Incredible performance.